The lives of 13 missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people are being honored next week at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. Michele-Elise Burnett is behind the Red Dress exhibit on at the Robertson Theatre next week. Michelle, it's an interactive experience. You've brought a couple of the dresses here with you today. So first of all, tell us about the event and how it takes place.
Well, the event actually came about regarding and honoring our 13 grandmother moons. So we have 13 dresses that will honor and bring a lot of awareness to this crisis that's happening today. And that's where this all came about. So it's an exhibit. It's a very immersive exhibit that also has a sound installation. So it's touching all the different senses. So you will see these beautiful installations of these dresses, but these dresses represent the spirit of the women that have either gone missing or have gone to the spiritual world too soon. And they're really living spirits, and they have a message to tell. So you are going to be in a room with this dress alone.
Well, let's talk about that dress.
Sure.
That one obviously has a lot of impact. It's a very small dress. I'm assuming it's for a young girl.
A toddler, a 2-year-old. It represents all the young toddlers, girls, that never were able to wear the ribbon skirts. So when this was being made, this is one that I made, it's not sewn, it has pins in it, because that child was taken away too soon. So it's to honor, to lift and support that spirit and all of those toddler spirits.
The one behind you?
This one here is just an incredible piece of work, and if we were to flip it on the other side, instead of seeing all these light colors, you'll see dark colors. You'll see it very somber, and this is a dress called Hope, and it's Mary Print-Up Claus that produced this beautiful piece of artwork, and it shows a period in her life where she almost didn't survive. And
she was beaten.
Yes, she had domestic violence and almost didn't make it out.
And beaten by a husband who had been through residential schools, had trauma that was lasting from that experience.
Most likely. And if it wasn't him, it might be from intergenerational trauma from his parents. I'm not quite sure exactly. But it is trauma that has gone and has continued. But she survived. And she wants to give hope to everybody and to the youth of today that we can stand in our truth, we can stand in our strength, in our resilience as women, as matriarchs, and we can make a difference going forward. And this is her now with her eagle feathers flying, and all of the women below lifting and supporting, each one of us.
That's a big part of this entire exhibit, the fact that you mentioned Grandmother Moon, and you mentioned women holding each other up. Mm-hmm. That's a big part of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's and even our collective that I've reached out to create these beautiful spirits, or bring these spirits' voice back to life. We've all actually supported each other throughout this entire journey for the last 10, 12 months as we've been creating and producing. So.
Take me through it. If I walk into the PAC November 9th through 13th, go into Robertson Hall, what am I going to see? How is it laid out?
The first thing it's going to be a maze. And the reason why I envision this maze is because our life has been a maze. It's all intertwined, and everything that's happening today is because of this maze that we couldn't find ourselves out. But we're still alive. We're still here. We're survivors. So you start with a residential school door, and you'll listen to an audio recording, and you'll hear the children laughing and playing with a song in the background called Wildflower, and they're enjoying themselves out in the field, and the wildflowers are spreading all over, and you get to the door, and then you hear it slam, and then you hear the western wind coming through. That was the time that our voices were taken away from us. Our culture was buried. So as you go through this, it's kind of unravels what has happened to our people since residential schools. That's where I start the story. MMIW has happened way before that, but this is where I start the story. And then you enter and you go into another room. You're alone in each of these rooms with one of these dresses, one of these spirits, and they will tell their story and create the awareness that's much needed awareness when you're in that room with them.
And this is all taking place as people listen on their phones with earbuds?
You bring in your earbuds, and so you can actually read an interpretive sign about the dress and why it's created the way it is. Then you, basically with a QR code, you listen to the narrative of this beautiful spirit through the family's voice.
Incredible.
And it's very powerful. It's a bit uncomfortable, but it's an uncomfortable situation. It's uncomfortable to say that we are currently in a crisis right now, and we need to build this awareness. 10 times more likely to go missing or murdered than any other race,
That's
including African American
unbelievable
and
statistic.
Hispanic. Yes.
Michelle, I wish we had more time to talk about this and dig a little bit deeper, but people could come and see this at the PAC November 9th through 13th. Is there a cost to it?
There's absolutely no cost to it. There will be, the opening night will be on the 9th, and it'll be at 6 o'clock, but the doors will open at 5 to 8 p.m. And on Saturday, we're going to have some interactive activities.
And a film as well Saturday.
Yes, correct.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jimmy Gwedge.